How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Welcome back to a What the F Wednesday. It is the Prepared Mind channel, folks. We're at war domestically, we're at war internationally, we're at war spiritually, and in every way possible. Now, yesterday I went on a massive diatribe, and I just had to get it out there, right? I was like, that's it. We're going to the bottom of the rabbit hole. I want to show everyone what's down there. So I have to say, I really hope that my last couple of videos haven't been too aggressively explanatory. But a lot of people have just said, hey, give it to me straight. What's going on, man? What's really happening? What do you really think? Well, you know, I've been trying to aggressively explain who's running the planet, who's running our country, what the hell is going on. Those videos, the last two especially, I'm expecting them to be censored and removed once the bad guys find out our little corner of social media. The only thing I'm seeing right now is all of them, politicians, religious zealots, and, of course, keyboard commandos. All of them are attacking Joe Kent right now, and they're covering their asses. They're making up stories, and they're hoping that we, you and I, Americans, America firsters, patriots, veterans, they're hoping we just shut up and go away. And also, by the way, Iran is making this far, far, far more difficult than the U.S. and Israel anticipated. Now, I have to say this. I know I will eventually be silenced, but until then, my mission is to inform, promote, prepping, and wake people up from their hypnosis. That was part of a response that I sent to somebody who's been sending me their opinion. And I wanted to share with you their thoughts. I'm going to keep them anonymous, though. And the contact wrote, I'm hearing something about the planned destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which may be blamed on Iran, paving the way for the third and, quote, final Jewish temple. Any insights? Well, number one insight, that's what they want to do. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is up on the Temple Mount, and the Chabad Lubavitch Zionist Israeli Jews want to build their third temple, which, biblically speaking, brings out their Messiah, but the Messiah of the synagogue of Satan is the Antichrist. Now, she says there's planned destruction of it, false flag. Well, yes, you bet. That's exactly what these people do. That's exactly what they do. In fact, sadly, our Secretary of Defense, or the War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, is recently proclaimed that he's all about. He is all about that. He's wanting to see that, and I don't get it, but here we are. So, you know, I wrote that response explaining my things and basically saying, hey, look, you know, I have to get to the bottom of this rabbit hole with everybody. And the response back to that was, at some point, you had to take the gloves off, right? Knowing that I'm going to be silenced eventually. And continues, everyone's been watering things down to avoid the YouTube hammer. But we're past that. Part of me thinks that this outcome was known from the get-go, and that it's being used to further divide the U.S. and possibly to get their third temple moving. Yeah. the war that they want between Americans of all ages, races, colors, religions. It's all used to divide and conquer, keep us distracted, keep us weak, keep us off balance, which I think they've done a marvelous job at keeping us off balance. If you weren't informed, if you were not already a prepper, if you didn't expect and see and predict and notice all this happening, you might be surprised, shocked. You might be going, man, I'm totally uninformed. I don't know what to think of any of this. I'm going to run to the mainstream media, or I'm going to run to right-wing media, and I'm going to get the answers. Well, folks, right-wing media is as bad as the left-wing media. Two birds of the same media, or two wings of the same media bird, just like politics. It's uniparty and unimedia now. It's up to us out here in the patriot world to help each other through social media find things. What I want to do is I really want to let everyone know that Trump is losing the world. And we know that the rest of the world is absolutely weak. They're sold out. They're chicken shit. But be that as it may, Trump can't buffalo them any further. He can't bully them or bullshit them. So right now, how fucked is Trump? In the last 72 hours, Germany is quoted as saying this, while the defense minister, Boris Pistorius, they've sent no ships down to the Gulf or to the Strait of Hormuz and said, quote, this is not our war. We did not start it. The European Union as an organization said they have, quote, no appetite, end quote, to expand into the Strait of Hormuz. France has declined to send warships, and Macron, the fruitcake. Remember, I have no love for these people in leadership in the rest of the world, but hey, even there have abandoned Trump, abandoned Israel. They see it for what it is. Macron chose to insult Trump, and so did France's military leadership. France's military leadership, not known for its stalwart strength standing up to enemies. They just basically say, look, you crossed our border. That means you're entitled to come to Paris and get all you want. And China has refused Trump's demand to help in the Strait of Hormuz. Right? That's it. And they haven't responded to any threats. And get this, folks, and I did report this, but as a reminder, Trump, in a very recent social media post yesterday, told our allies, NATO, Japan, Australia, and other nations that the United States doesn't need them, and it never did. Basically, F you, rest of the world. I'm going to take them on myself. That's how fucked up Trump has got things now. Literally, how messed up it is now. But he's using every domestic tool he has right now. Mr. Trump, using every tool he has, from the religious to the secular to the press to the White House. He's even having his cute little blonde girl, little cute Christian Carolyn Levitt, who sometimes doesn't wear her cross necklace when she really needs to lie. But she is the press secretary, and she said Joe Kent lied about Iran being a threat in his resignation letter. All right. That's it. I got you, Hoosier. If you want to make comments for the second half of the show, folks, get them in. In fact, I'm going to zip through everything I've got because I want to get to what you guys have to say. Okay, we'll go with that one as well. Let's do this. Back to Carolyn Levitt. She is going after Joe Kent. Joe Kent. Saying that he lied. But this is an actual tweet from Carolyn Levitt as the press secretary in this term for President Trump. And I quote, to be clear, no such threat from Iran to our homeland exists, and it never did. That's what Carolyn Levitt wrote. And then today she says Joe Kent lied about Iran being a threat. Really? Really? Oh, she wrote some paragraphs of shit. It sounds a lot like she disagreed with Trump and agreed with Joe Kent back then. So why attack him now? And why do a 180-degree turnabout and go the opposite direction? I guess Carolyn has been invited by the Chosenites to be in the big club. I guess she'll get rich for writing these things. She'll be protected, she thinks. She'll be part of the club, and her family will get all kinds of benefits. I guess that's what it takes to get people to sell out, huh? Interesting stuff. You know, I fought with you guys, not you guys, but some people for years over, this is not a religious channel. I am not here to evangelize and convert people and tell them to go get baptized. But I have stated I'm a Christian person. And folks, religion is a big part of what we're in right now and facing. A religious war, it's a holy war, it's a jihad between Israel, which thinks they're the chosen people of God, the Muslims who think they're the chosen people of Allah, and the United States of America who are Christians and have nothing to do with either of those two religions. But we're getting dragged into a religious quagmire. So mainstream right-wing media says that a shockingly low share of Americans have a biblical worldview. Well, I thought at the same time that we have this super low, right, biblical worldview. I think we're all getting a world-class lesson in satanic ritual, rape, murder, and cannibalism. There's some biblical worldview looking, right? Now, headline aside, I also thought there was a massive Christian revival happening in the United States of America. You know, an awakening to something that matters more than just a paycheck, right? That having morals and being decent is in itself its own reward, which creates prosperity. Now, having said that, I guess worldview in this headline must mean biblical worldview agreeing with Israel, that they're God's chosenites. I guess in that instance, the headline would be correct then. Let's continue if we shall. Let's see. This everyone knows who Alan Dershowitz is, right? Alan Dershowitz is Trump's attorney. He also defended O.J. Simpson. He is a good friend of Epstein. He's visited Epstein Island many times, visited Epstein's New York apartment many times. I'm sure he doesn't like little girls and boys. Anyways, Dershowitz, speaking about Joe Kent, called him a neo-Nazi, Jew-hating Israel basher, and said he quit the administration. Good riddance to bad garbage. That's what Alan Dershowitz wrote. He also said that if he was asked, he would have gotten our good friend Jeffrey Epstein off. All he would do is claim he's an intelligence asset. I just hate saying that. That Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset. It's ridiculous. But that using that, an Israeli intelligence asset, Alan could have got him off. It's just pretty much unbelievable. Just the absolute stupidity. Let's go with this. Speaking of stupidity. And really, it's the stupidity of it all, folks. The right-wing mainstream media press had a release. Once again, I've had it with this right-wing shit. Basically, if anyone is pushing for the war in Iran, it's because they are bought and controlled for by Iran. And I've looked into who the right-wing media is. They have these big news networks, internet. It used to be a reliable source of information. Now it is all propaganda. Okay. President Trump, let me give you the headline. President Trump just ended Joe Kent's entire career with one Brutal screenshot of an old tweet. Okay, number one, Joe Kent already resigned. So Trump didn't end his career. His career was already over. So Trump did nothing but attack a highly decorated, highly successful, highly respected, high achievement veteran. Number two, Trump is so vulnerable and thin-skinned that he couldn't take the high road and wish him well as Joe had, thanking Trump. But, he disagreed with Trump's position. But Trump is so thin-skinned, so sensitive, right, that he had to attack. And this old tweet, number three, that Trump was referring to was not about Iran being a threat to America. That threat was that Iran was poised to attack troops in the Middle East, American troops in the Middle East during our war there. So this is a quote from the post that Trump put up, that we're supposed to just agree with Trump that that's what Joe Kent said. Again, they've got to hide, lie, obfuscate everything. So here's Joe's quote. You can tell me. Iran is poised to attack. Biden and the DC war machine has given them plenty of options to harm us by leaving our troops deployed in small bases in Iraq, Syria, and Jordan. That first sentence, he says that Biden caused the problem. So you know how old this tweet is. A lot of things could change then, right? But he said, no, it's not about harming the United States of America, our country. It's about our troops deployed in small bases. Now, let me continue with Joe's tweet. Biden also gave Iran the funding for its proxies to attack us and Israel. Okay, so Syria and Jordan are around Israel. But he says Biden, United States President Biden, gave Iran the funding. That means cash, money. He gave him money. Well, how about that, huh? So Joe continues and says, the solution isn't billions more in foreign aid and adding more U.S. troops to the region. It's cutting off Iran's access to funding and depriving them of targets. In other words, if we're not in the Middle East, we're not targets. We stop giving them money, it'll stop helping them build up their military. So in essence, Trump and Biden and everybody, going all the way back to Obama, were giving tons of money to Iran. And they've still never really, to my satisfaction, explained what they're doing. So let me continue here. Finally, the problem is Trump's ego and his personal embarrassment over his absolutely horrific, terrible decision to attack Iran against the advice of lots of experts, including Joe Kent. But instead, Trump chose to take the advice of Jared Kushner, the Israeli son-in-law of his, whose allegiance is to the Zionist Chabad Lubavitch and Netanyahu's agenda. And that agenda, folks, is to take over the entire Middle East because God promised it to them 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago. And so like a true politician, which Trump claimed he wasn't. I don't need their money. I got my own. Which Trump claimed he wasn't. He now hides his military losses and he's hiding military damage by restricting information that's being released. He's lying about the number of dead, the number of injured Americans. They're hiding it. And he's using his office, the White House, the Oval Office, the Resolute Desk. He's using the bully pulpit to attack a single one man, a retired Special Forces war hero, folks. 11 combat missions, Bronze Star. Yeah. I think he's done a lot more directly for the country than he's being given credit for. But anyways, let us continue. He's attacking one guy, the president. He's got an entire nation out there to attack Iran, right? He's got all these other nations he should have as allies. He should, at the very least, if not getting help from other countries, letting him know that this is going to be solved, it's going to be handled, everything's going to be fine. We like to maintain our relationship with you. Instead, he's fucking attacking them too. But right now, today, he's attacking Joe Kent. He's been embarrassed. He's thin-skinned, right? But all of this is actually serving as an additional distraction from the Epstein files, which were just a couple of days ago getting a lot more traction again. Never, ever forget it. We're not forgetting it. We're going to stay on it. Now, a distraction from the Epstein files. Oh, within that range, the Epstein files, Trump is one of the most frequently mentioned characters. In another way or manner of speaking and describing this, the man who loves young women, who's accused of multiple rapes of underage girls and was good buddies with a convicted pedophile Israeli spy, Epstein. Trump decided to attack the integrity of an honorable man, a military hero, an intelligence services hotshot top dog, and that was the best move Trump had. It's pretty fucking embarrassing, in fact. Right? The shit show script is writing itself, folks. We are in bizarro land. And instead of seeing this for what it is, Republicrats, Trump just turning on everyone, the Democrats lying their asses off, right? This bizarro land shit. The Republicans out here in the real world are fighting amongst themselves over whether or not Kent should or should not have resigned the way he did. Well, that's his job, his life, his resignation. He made it public. He made a fucking statement. Good for him. The best thing Trump could have done was said, Joe Kent, we appreciate your service, man. Enjoy your retirement. Your opinion is yours. We have ours. Enough said. That could have done it right there. Instead, they are so embarrassed. They've had their fucking pants pulled down. They've been spanked. And that's how they're acting. And so that's how it looks. Perception is everything. It looks like Joe Kent absolutely spanked Israel, spanked Dead King Bibi, spanked Trump, spanked everybody, embarrassed them all. Because that's how they're acting. They're acting embarrassed. Now, the fact is that Joe Kent's decision hasn't caused anyone to die. There was no leaked information that caused American troops to die. It has not cost the nation massive amounts of treasure, nor has Joe Kent's resignation done any real harm to anyone except that it exposed Trump, yet again, showing America who he really works for and what Trump's decisions now risk. And what I mean by that is what it's costing Americans in terms of blood and treasure. Now, Trump can't afford, folks, even with the office of the president, he can't afford any personal dignity. No personal dignity. He has, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many Americans, committed treason and is acting to achieve the goals of Israel at the expense of national security, our military readiness, and the lives of Americans who swore an oath to defend our Constitution and our nation. Not a zealotous, maniacally deranged religious organization whose adherents, folks, believe that God has blessed them, made them superior to all of us, the world, and that they're now an undefeatable nation. Talk about being in a really fucked up religious cult. Resignation is not treason. There's a lot of people saying, Joe committed treason. Resignation is not treason. Treason is treason. I mean, get this. I know a lot of people have done this, but it's worth doing again. Okay, let's have some. I got you, see. All right. Where's Ooman? Yep. Mr. Ooman is working his ass off and will be for several more weeks, but he's in the comments. Everyone pray for Ooman. He's got his hands full. Anyways, I want to remind everyone of what has happened. Trump started the war with Iran. No. Israel started the war with Iran. No. The U.S. started the war to defend Israel because Iran was probably going to do something, and we couldn't wait to see if they really would, so Trump attacked Iran first. But it's Iran's fault because they might have done something that Jared Kushner said they probably could do if they decided that maybe it would be a good idea. Maybe if Iran decided to attack. So that's why we started the war. I hope that was crystal fucking clear. By the way, fact here, Persia, aka Iran, hasn't attacked anyone in a couple of hundred years, literally hundreds of years. The world sees it. The world knows it. France, Italy, other nations, as we discussed, are refusing to assist Israel. They're refusing to assist Trump. They're refusing to give the entire Middle East to the Zionists in Tel Aviv. Trump is, folks, controlled by Israel. Everyone worldwide knows it. And personal attacks against little individuals, like Joe Kent, groups his voter base. Personal attacks against individuals that protest his decisions won't change what everyone has learned about the Trump-Epstein involvement and the Trump-Israel involvement and how he's being controlled and he's enriching himself and he's enriching his buddies and he's enriching Jared Kushner. He's enriching Chabad Leibovich. He's enriching Israel. That was his plan. And I guess when you keep bad company, you end up reaping what you sow. In any event, I think, we just got a lot going on here, right? By the way, Joe Kent is supposed to go on with Tucker Carlson. And the left wing blew up. And the right wing blew up. This is that same shitty bird in Washington, D.C. They're throwing a fit about Joe Kent going to talk to Tucker Carlson, who Trump has called a traitor. Right? He's treated him like that. Let's see. Thomas Massey, Marge Taylor Greene, Charlie Kirk would have been cursed, except they shot him instead, killed him, blew him up, however you want to talk about it. And then, of course, you've got now Joe Kent on that list. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson. Anyways, Joe Kent, American hero and dissident against the Iran war, has now agreed to an interview with the Jewish guy, big mouth, who's been accused of having a micro penis, Mark Levin. Now understand, Mark Levin is Israel first. He is not America first. He's not America at all, as far as I'm concerned. All he talks about is how we need to be fighting Israel's war for them. And anyone who argues, he calls names. He just blows up, starts attacking him. That's why I like to sprinkle facts, some directed, intelligent opinion, while I insult people like micropenis Mark Levin. Oh, by the way, Joe Kent is going to go speak with Mark Levin on his show, but Mark Levin has already called Joe Kent an anti-Semite, Nazi, Israel hater. I have a funny feeling this interview, if it happens, I'm sure Mark Levin is going to back out and blame Joe Kent. But I think it's going to be epic because old Needle Dick Levin is probably just going to melt down and resort to ad hominem attacks. Levin, who Trump testified as his master, in my opinion. Levin doesn't, Trump testified that Levin does not have a micro penis. I mean, why the fuck would Trump address the size of Mark Levin's dick unless he was sworn to defend him as a Zionist ally? Right? He's got more allegiance to his Zionist masters and his Zionist buddies than he does to countries that we trade and do billions of dollars with every year. Nope. All Trump is now, and all Mark Levin is a Chabad Leibovich mouthpiece. While Kent actually served in a very important position, right, within the intelligence community. their top counter-terrorist guy. He's probably got a full knowledge of the facts. So bullshit versus facts. Who do you suppose is going to succeed in describing the war as either good or bad, right or wrong? It's crazy, folks. The whole world is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Other attacks on Joe Kent have been that he's been kept out of the loop. He's been kept out of the loop for months now. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's been kept out of the. He was a leaker. He was leaking information, and we've known for months and months. So we cut him out. He knows nothing, really. So the White House, Trump, DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, right, Director of National Intelligence, the CIA is going to allow their counterintelligence boss, the number 2 man in the CIA, right? That's how high up he was. They're going to let him keep his position. They're not going to fire him. They're not going to arrest him, interrogate him, prosecute him, and send him to jail or hang him for treason. They're going to just let him stay in his job. They're going to let him keep that prestigious position. If you buy that one, I've got some more to sell you. I got some more, right? C writes, it just gets more ridiculous every day. That's the truth. That's absolutely the truth. I'll tell you what, guys, it is time to go to the inner circle, and that means I want to hear your thoughts. All righty, who's your daddy checks in, and he starts off with, Trump's not the only one fucked. We're standing and getting the backside reamed out in a lot of different ways, right? Yeah, Trump has screwed up Trump. He screwed up his name. He screwed up his legacy. He screwed up his track record. He screwed up his politics. He screwed up his family. Unless they win, and then they get to write the history books. History is written by the victor, my friends. So that's Trump's one shot. As far as us, we're getting our asses reamed out. We're going to have massive inflation. Oil's going to go up and stay up. We're going to continuously be punished. Our allies are leaving us. They're not assisting us. They're basically saying F you, and Trump is telling them F you. We're going to pay the price. Do you think anything Trump says to Europe or China or Japan or Australia or Canada, you think that's going to affect what food goes on his plate? You think his lobster is going to be half an ounce smaller because of anything he says or does? You think his steak is going to be any less tender as he digs into it? No, it's not going to hurt him a bit. We're going to fucking pay for this. We are going to pay for this. Now, Yankee Watchdog, he checks in and says, I'm all for it if it gets us out of NATO and the UN. He's referring to, pissing off our allies. It's kind of a two-edged sword. On the one side, they're valuable trading partners, right? They buy from us, we buy from them. We have shared heritage. But we, the United States, it's divide and conquer within the country. Right? Black versus white, Hispanic versus Asian, whatever, right? Religion versus religion, old versus young, man versus woman, left versus right, queer, fruitcakes versus straights. And now they're dividing our country. Our country, thank you, Israel, is now divided against the rest of the world. Once again, their Kalergi plan, their protocols of the learned elders of Sion, divide and conquer, make people fight each other, and then they put themselves in a position of power. It's their trick. It's their trick. It's their trick, and they've been using that trick a long, long time. Now, with respect to C on this one, that guy has changed political parties more than he changed his underwear. Be careful, just because somebody is a vet means nothing. John McCain and Eye Patch McCain is proof of that. Now, I do understand. I understand completely. I do not worship Joe Kent. I do not know what his politics are 100%, but I do know that he said, God bless America, or may God bless America. You won't catch too many atheist Democrats saying that. Most Democrat, anti-American, scumbag, left-wing fuckheads do not say, may God bless America. That doesn't mean Joe isn't clever and knows how to use things like that. I understand. Intelligent guy, he can play his games. That said, earlier I described a much better way that Trump could have handled this. He didn't even have to address it personally. He could have had Carolyn Levitt say, we want to thank Joe Kent for his service, for his dedication, for risking his life in many occasions. We're sorry he lost his wife. That's terrible. We wish him all the best in the rest of his life. We just disagree on what to do about Iran. And we'll just leave it at that. We'll leave Joe to his life and we'll continue to carry out our mission here. They could have done that. That would have been fucking intelligent, right? How hard would that have been? Instead, they send out Mark Levin. They send out Ben fucking Shapiro, right? Beanie Benny. Beanie Benny, little Ben. I doubt he comes up to my fucking belly button. Anyways, that little turd, right? He sends out Carolyn Levitt. He sends out the right-wing media to attack. Why? Just let him go. Instead, what they've done by attacking Joe Kent, regardless of what his fucking politics are, by attacking him, they get attention focused on what he said. They've drawn more attention to Israel because of this than just about anything else. That's bad. Now, John McCain and Eye Patch McCain. John McCain is dead, and Eye Patch McCain is lost. He's out. And they're both asshats. Dan Crenshaw is Eye Patch McCain. He'll say and do anything for money. In any event, I really take it. It's an excellent comment. See, the guy has changed political parties more. Whatever. But I happen to know we're fighting in Iran, risking American lives so that the Israelis can expand their kingdom that they've stolen, or rather invaded, annexed, and started murdering people way back in 1948, folks. Before 1948, there was no Israel. How can it be God's people on God's land when they were refugees that were given home there, and they've just taken over and created their own state, and now they want a super state, which goes from Egypt to the west, all the way to Iran in the east, south to the Persian Gulf, and of course, parts of Africa. Yeah, they've got some expansionist ideas. Crazy business. Yeah. Anyways, good discussion points, folks. Good discussion points. I'm all for getting us out of NATO, folks. You know what? I would rather have them start a war with Russia. Russia kick the ever-loving shit out of them. Leave us out of it. But with us out of it, I doubt they're going to attack Russia, because Russia can out-nuke Europe, so they can't threaten them with nukes. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has successfully made it to Moscow with an army. Nobody. Even the mighty Germans of World War II could only make it to St. Petersburg, which was a fucking mess. It was Stalingrad at the time. Anyways, yeah, I'm glad we're leaving that. And the United Nations itself is also just a waste of time. Okay, let's go on. I got some more comments here. This is another one from Who's Your Life? And he says, with all the satanic shit going on, these Zionists, these satanic Zionists, say God is actually Baal. Baal is the same as Moloch. They are Canaanite deities that the Jews sacrificed children to. Literally, blood sacrifice, and threw them in fire, burned them. As a Christian, who do we pray to? I don't know his name, so when I pray, I say to my Creator. Right? That's very personal and up to you, Hoosier. That's your choice. Right? So you can choose to follow people that say burning children is good, eating children is good, raping children is good. You can follow the other religion that says, hey, raping children is good, killing people is good, stealing is good. Right? Okay, so whether you're talking about Talmudic Judaism or you're talking about Islam, they both think having sex with underage girls is great. They're all fucked up. So I look at a religion that goes with the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I don't want anyone killing my mom or taking my wife or raping my daughter. I don't want anyone stealing my money, tricking me, lying to me, using fraud, deception. That's what those two religions push. Christianity doesn't. You can talk to God Almighty all you want. You can talk to God the Creator, or the Architect of the universe, or whatever moniker you want, as long as you know which God it is, right? A God of good things. That to me makes sense, right? Jesus became the sacrifice, if you will, the replacement, the superior replacement to animal sacrifices. And that separated and distinguished the Old Testament from the New Testament, the old way and the new way. Now, the Old Testament is still there for education, learning, historical purposes, but salvation isn't found in the Old Testament. But you do have moral stories in there, examples of what to do or not do. But you think about a lot of shit that went on in the Old Testament, that's some dirty crap in there. Now, New Testament, whole nother thing, right? But it's a mess, folks. It is a mess. Let's do this. Mr. Uman, let's take a look here. We got Who's Your Life again. He says, the only good thing I see coming from all of this is they've exposed themselves and for the repercussions they'll receive. All the players have exposed themselves. And some of them are overexposing themselves. And namely in America, in the media, that would be Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. And they attack and call anyone that disagrees with anything Israel says. Israel could say the moon is made out of cheese. And if you disagree, you're an anti-Semite. Right? You can say, don't drink that seawater. It's too salty. You're an anti-Semite. Right? Everything is anti-Semitic because they say so. But it doesn't carry it, right? So the more they attack, the more they accuse, the more they pretend they're victims, the more they create victims elsewhere. Those are the repercussions that they're going to get. In other words, they're going to sow what they reap. They're going to get the fruits of what they have planted. They have planted hatred, discord, envy. They have committed serious crimes and offenses against God, against children, against other men, against nations. They've exposed themselves and they're continuing to do it. Good for them. Show us who you guys are, all of you in the Middle East. Now, Robin G says, I hear the Marines are about 5 days away from the Middle East. Do you think they are heading to the island to turn off the oil valve? Well, there's an island offshore from Iran, and they do most of their filling of tankers there. That island also has some extremely old Christian monasteries there. In fact, some people claim it's the oldest monastery. Not a church, not a cathedral, it's a monastery. It's Christian. I wonder if they're going to bomb the shit out of it before they invade. Now, right now, we got a lot of speculation, Robin. If that is a potential, But what the military should never do is say, this is what we're going to go do. We're going to go take this island. We're sending in our Marines. They could. But let me ask you this question. If they're heading to the island, and I can't remember the name of it, to turn off the oil, in other words, to seize the port, to seize the connection to the oil, number one, they won't be able to bring American ships in and fill them up. They'll just turn the valve off on the other side on the mainland. But if they turn the valve off, what does that do? It takes even more oil supply out of the market. It makes the rest of the oil out there even more valuable. Oil that's already in ships on its way, oil that's in tanks, oil that is in refineries, oil that's been processed into fuels. It all becomes more valuable because by turning it off, they're shorting the world that much more. There's going to be a battle royale to get resources. Resources, the number one, oil. It is energy, it's lifeblood. It is what makes the world go round with respect to productivity. Right? Then you get into commodities. The banking commodity is gold. The technological commodity is silver. The infrastructure commodity, steel, nickel, copper, zinc, lead, those metals, right? They're all going to fight over this. They're all going to go up in price. The world is now forever changed. It's forever changed. Now, most people are asleep, right? They don't know shit. They don't understand shit. They don't know any of the nitty-gritty that we know. They don't know any of the fine pieces. They don't even know a lot of the broad strokes. They just know that some bad things are happening. They are like the person who is sick. A war's going on. They're sick. So they go to the operating table. They get knocked out with knockout gas, and they wake up. They've had one leg cut off below the knee. They're missing an entire arm. Right? They now have an eye patch. They can't see. Right? They wake up. They're like, "What the hell happened? I thought I was fine, just feeling a little sick. I woke up, and I'm missing all kinds of parts and abilities. I can't even. Half my brain is gone." That's the change the world is going through. You're awake, and you're awake going through it. And you're like, damn it, can't we just get this over with? Tell us how it ends and get there so we can move on with life. It's a process. It takes a lot of steps to get through this from one end to the other. We're going to be awake through the operation, folks, so that if we end up losing a leg below the knee, well, shit, we're going to be crippled that way. I need to figure out a workaround, right? I need a workaround. So you wake up from the surgery, you wake up to the new reality, in other words, and you're prepared to deal with it. Anyways, great concept, great ideas. Thank you, Robin. Let us continue if we shall. We got some people talking about gas prices. I paid $4.50 a gallon today. Karg Island. That's the island that they're going to, Karg Island. Thank you, Robin. I tell you, folks. I tell you. By the way, today at Holloman Air Force Base, they went on lockdown because they were out of steaks at the Air Force Base. They didn't have any more scented toilet paper for the Air Force, right? No, they got a shooter. Someone opened fire, killed one, injured another. And guess what the government is doing? Our precious government doesn't want us to know what's happening, so they're withholding details of who the shooter was, which would, of course, help us understand their motivations for what was done. Likely, in my opinion, it's another terrorist who joined our military just to finally one day lose their shit and start killing people. Hasn't the first time, won't be the last time. It's terrible that people have been injured and killed, but this is what happens when you lower morale in the military, when you bring in illegal aliens, terrorists, and scumbags. In fact, a lot of these fucking Muslims out there, folks, these Muslim communities all around the country, they're sending their young men to our military, not because they love America and they're willing to fight and die to protect America and American interests and our national security. No, they want to learn to fight and shoot and have our military train them so that when they go full fucking jihad, they've got some training. Yeah. You see, I don't have to make that shit up because that's who they are. That's who they are. Muslims do what Muslims do. They lie. They rape little girls. They marry young girls under age 10. They don't care. They can steal. They can murder. They can commit fraud. Doesn't matter. Now, on the other side, we got the Epstein gang and the Epstein allies. In fact, we got another Epstein in government exposed, right? Another Epsteinite. Right? In Oregon, a school principal, not the school janitor, not a school dropout, a school principal was suspended. Why? Well, for smearing Charlie Kirk. Well, now this jackass has been sentenced to 5 years plus in prison for having child sex abuse images, including an infant. These are some sick fucking people that are on the side of Epstein. Anyone who's defending Epstein, hiding the Epstein files, the documents, the pictures, the videos, anyone who's on that team, they're all sick fucks. They're all together. They're all doing, right? It's just crazy. Another teacher, oh, yeah. We learn every day that government officials are likely cut from the same cloth as the politicians that are defending and hiding Epstein. They like victimizing children at all levels of government, folks. Local, school, state, federal government, international, all the way up and down from the West Coast to the White House, all the way over to Tel Aviv. They're a bunch of sick fucks. Now, we've got Iran going on. We had Venezuela. We've threatened Mexico, and we've also threatened Cuba. But get this. This is some interesting shit. Today, Trump has said, we're gonna come for you, Cuba. We're coming from you. And then they had an oil embargo on Cuba. They lost their power. Their whatever food they have is going bad. But the communist Cuban dictator, his name is Miguel Diaz-Canel. He has said he's going to resist U.S. pressure with, quote, impregnable resistance. That is, if Trump decides to invade and take Cuba. This is actually fucking insane, folks. I don't know what weapons systems Cuba has. I don't know what their military is like. It is a shithole of a country. And in order to get people to serve the government, they have to give them better food, better pay than everyone else in the private sector. Sounds kind of like our government. In order to get law enforcement and regulators and fucking bureaucrats, they pay them way more than they would ever get in the private sector to lure them into the government to be their fucking Nazi goose-stepping bitches. And they'll do anything for a paycheck. So, yeah, the insanity, but we may end up with, down in Cuba, another Vietnam or another Afghanistan, right? We could have that on our hands if Super Trump thinks it'll be a cakewalk the way he said Iran will just be a couple of days. Couple of days, huh? I see how that works. Okay. Let's have some fun here. What the hell is that? Oh, yes, Dow Jones Index. You guys are aware of the Dow Jones Index, right? That's kind of one of those indicators of what we should focus on. You see, several weeks ago, Pam Bondi said, why are you asking me about Epstein? The Dow is at 50,000 points. You should be concerned about that. Well, the Dow went down another 768 points today alone. Essentially, we're at 46,000 on the Dow. We've lost 8% since that stupid blonde bitch who knows children have been trafficked, raped, murdered, and eaten, and she's hiding them all. You can't be mad enough. There isn't enough justice for everyone to get a chance to fucking punish this bitch. Hopefully, karma does its job. But yeah, the Dow is down incredible amounts. The entire market is down. And could that be because the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, other countries from the region said, you know what? The Board of Peace under Trump took trillions of dollars in promises and billions of dollars in cash. And you know what they got for it? They got their fucking countries bombed, their infrastructure bombed. They got a right. The safety's gone. Fucking missiles are flying overhead both ways. Civilians are getting killed. They've got no guarantee of safety for anything. They're like, well, fuck it. Why do we give you all this money? Why are we promising all this? The United States of America can barely defend itself against Iran. How is it supposed to defend the rest of the world, right? In other words, essentially, they've now demonstrated to the world that the United States military is essentially a paper tiger. Yeah, we got some great aircraft carriers. What good are they with no missiles and no bullets? Same with the jets. No missiles? What good are you? No ammunition? What good are you? What good are our missile defense systems if we have no missiles? You see, it's now missile warfare. It's missile warfare. And we're not set up as a country to create and build enough of these, right? There's not enough Raytheons out there to build enough missiles to fight a war. It's too technical, too expensive to build these missiles and make them work. Unfucking believable. Anyways, yeah, the Dow's down, Pam Bondi. Does that mean we can talk about Epstein again? Okay. Let us continue if we shall. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, let's check. No, let's not check that news. That's fucking shit. Okay, we're going here. Let's see. Oh, that's some funny shit. There's this very large father who's been attending school board meetings and reading the bullshit that comes out of the books and embarrassing these boards. They're like, you can't say those words. He goes, it's in books you're giving our kids, but I can't say the words in a school board meeting. It's offensive. It's out of line. It's against the rules, but you can let our little tiny children read this shit. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. So there's two groups of people in social media out here. You've got, there's three groups and more actually. But on the Republican side, you've got the Make America Great Again people who are getting $7,000 a post to defend Israel and everything Israel's doing. And then you've got the rest of the people out here going, we don't have skin in the game. We want freedom, liberty, and our frickin' country back. So, you got a lot of news going on. The Second Amendment really is continuing to come up, folks. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing. There's a lot of veterans out there. There's a lot of us who have been thinking about what they're doing to Joe Kent. They're attacking him. And what people are coming to realize, and I am as well, is everyone loves to say, thank you for your service. I don't personally need that. That's not why I signed up. But you can sign up like Joe Kent did. You can go into the Army or the Marine Corps where you're, if you're 0300, your infantry, there's going to be a much better chance that you're going to see combat. So you go in the military, you get your ass kicked, or you should, physically, training, learning, and then risking your life in the event of war. In Joe Kent's case, 11 different deployments. Left wing, right wing, doesn't matter. He went and did that job. He served his country. He came back, he signed up with the intelligence community, rose to the top of that as the counterintelligence expert. And if you say one thing they don't like, you're out and they fucking destroy you. They come after you, your wife, your kids. They do everything they can to destroy you. Veterans have now learned that lesson. Yeah. We've learned the lesson. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. I want to thank you for joining me today. Share this video, no matter where you're watching it, whether it's on the preparedmind.club or Subscribestar or YouTube or hell, Uman's X channel. Share the videos, help people wake up, realize where we're at in all of this. And may God bless America.